My roommates aren't laughing at me anymore. By gay and fired. About 5 months ago, a friend of mine got expelled from his program because of bad marks. He was only halfway through his lease and he didn't see a point of staying in the city since he was only here for school. So he told me that if I wanted to take over his lease, he would only charge me half of the rent, and I thought that was a pretty sweet deal. So naturally, although I'm from this town, I thought it was time to leave my parents' place. I felt like this was such a good opportunity that I just couldn't miss out on, so I took over his lease and moved into his place. The house itself was actually pretty nice. It had 3 floors including the basement, and it's located near the university of my town, which is not a very safe area overall, but I spent a lot of my university years here and never felt unsafe. The room is in the basement and it's pretty small but cozy, and the only other room down here is occupied by a girl who is currently also a student, and she's pretty quiet. Actually, all the girls living here are pretty good roommates, to be honest. I wasn't thrilled about living with 3 girls, but I didn't see what else I could do and I never thought of it as an issue. They were all pretty great and had a good time. I am the only one in the house who is not a student, and I also am the only one who is originally from this set town. The other roommates are actually from all other cities that are only about an hour or 2 away, so unless there's something special going on, they all go home on the weekend. My friend who got expelled only lives about 2 hours away, so he would do the same. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention that is actually pretty crucial to this story is that the house has actually had 5 rooms that were all moved into the new place together, if that makes sense. One of the girls had a seizure on her bed and sadly passed away. This was very unsettling for everyone, and the landlord told them not to worry about finding anyone else. The rent actually also never went up because of this or anything, and the room was just left vacant. According to the landlord, he just found it insensitive to try and find someone because he didn't want to turn somebody's death into a financial inconvenience for him. So after the girl's death, the parents came and took her belongings out of the room, and it just remained empty since then. I actually never looked in there because it just remained locked, and I didn't really have much curiosity to actually see the room. It's on the 2nd floor and I never go up there, so I never paid any attention to it. Now, the first night that I was there, I had never had anything eventful happen. I remember I spent one night at my boyfriend's place, and then the next night he slept over after we went out drinking at one of the college bars near the place. We were wasted, so passed out pretty soon as we got home. The next weekend, I was at home in my new room and I couldn't sleep, so I decided to read a bit. I was really enjoying the quietness of this new house since the girls weren't home after all. So I come from a Latino family, and this kind of quietness is pretty rare for me. I thought that I heard a few noises upstairs, so I just figured that one of the girls had probably decided to stay the weekend at the house, or she was just getting last minute things ready before heading back. I really didn't think much of it. I wasn't very close to the other roommates, so I didn't even bother asking them if one of them has decided to stay or not. I just felt like it was none of my business. The girl in the basement was for sure gone for the weekend because she apparently sleeps with her doors locked and keeps it open when she's not home. So one weekend, I had to pee, and I woke up and I could hear a toilet flushing upstairs, which was kind of weird since I knew that none of the girls were home. I was going to check it out, but in my tired state I was too lazy and just didn't care enough. It's funny, horror movies are supposed to make you paranoid, but the biggest lesson I got from them was that there's always a rational explanation for things. This would prove to be my biggest mistake because for a couple of months I was always brushing things off and ironically creating irrational explanations to rationalize things that I thought were irrational thoughts. For example, I heard a creaking coming from the second floor, and I figured that one of the girls must have forgotten something and decided to come by to pick it up. The girl must have driven 2 hours down and 2 hours back to her hometown in the middle of the night to pick up something. Right. On Saturday, I woke up to get some water and I noticed that the roommate in the basement was gone. Her door was open and her car was not in the driveway. There weren't any cars in the driveway, but I should mention that one of the girls doesn't drive. A couple of hours later I woke up because I heard some steps coming down into the basement. At this point I yelled out the girl's name who doesn't drive, and she's the only one that it could have been in the house. I didn't get a reply and I just heard the steps going back up. At this point, I started to get really uneasy about being home on the weekends, so I decided to spend them at my boyfriend's house. One of the girls made a house Facebook page, which was supposed to address any issues like washing dishes or leaving messes. But to be honest, it remained pretty inactive since everybody seemed to get along. I posted on there that some creepy stuff was happening on the weekends, and I asked them if they could help me find out what was going on, or to let me know if they'd been coming home late or not. They seriously thought it was a joke. The replies were not receptive at all and consisted of LMAO, oh my god, you're so funny. Even my boyfriend agreed that I was being paranoid because he too believes that everything has a rational and perfect explanation. The thing is though, when you say it like that, all you're doing is implying that all the paranormal explanations are invalid or that ghostly activity is not actually going on. That was not what I was implying at all. I have never believed in ghosts or spirits or any of that jazz, and I never claimed to when I spoke to my roommates or my boyfriend. They just kept on saying that the house was old and made noises, but I know the difference between old house noises and somebody walking down the stairs and back up again. Fortunately in the end, some of the girls did actually start posting on the page to let me know that they would be gone. It was always to the same effect. Hey, lol, I won't be home this weekend, so don't worry about any of the ghosts. One weekend they all let me know that they would not be home and my boyfriend was on the midnight shift, so I had to spend the night on my own. My boyfriend called me on his break, and while I was on the phone with him, I heard noises on the main floor. I then told him what was going on, and he told me that I should just go and check it out because I was being paranoid. As I said this, I heard footsteps going back up to the second floor. Once I got onto the main floor, there was nobody in the kitchen and all of the doors into the house were locked. Literally. I was then extremely paranoid. I didn't feel safe. My boyfriend calmed me down and convinced me that everything was alright. So I never went to the second floor, and it's probably best that I stayed on the main floor. After that weekend, I told my roommates in all seriousness that I was convinced that somebody had been in our house at some point that night. I told them what I heard, and these idiots claimed that it was the old house making the noises. At this point, my boyfriend was almost permanently on really late shifts, so I never knew exactly what to do and started spending weekends at my parents' place. The girls still posted on this page whether or not they were leaving the house or not, and I decided I should do the same. I also started posting when I was not sleeping at the house, so one Friday night, the Facebook page looked something like this. Roommate 1, I'm not sleeping. 2, I'm not sleeping either. 3, staying home because of midterm exams. Me, I'm at my parents' place. The next morning, I received a frantic text from one of the roommates saying that the roommate with the midterms had been attacked. Apparently, she was in her room studying and heard a noise right outside her bedroom. When she went out to inspect it, she was greeted by a man walking out of the dead girl's room. I found out more details later on about the whole thing from the roommate who was attacked. The man looked really rough and had greasy hair and a dirty face. When they made eye contact, he held his fingers up to his lips and ushered to be quiet while smiling. The nail on his finger was really long, and his beard was apparently scraggly and uneven, like it only grew on certain parts of his face. She screamed frantically out of instinct, even though she knew that nobody was in the house. He then lunged at her as she tried to shut the door, and she wasn't beaten up too badly. He just growled and told her to shut her mouth and said something like, "I'm not gonna rape you, but shut your mouth." He beat her, but not completely unconscious, and then he walked out of her room. He went downstairs and walked out of the front door. So he left the dead girl's room unlocked. My roommate locked herself in the room and called the police, who were there immediately. What's creepy about the whole thing though, is that when they inspected the dead girl's room, they kept asking for clarification. So nobody's lived in this room for how long? Nobody's been renting this room, right? Did the parents take everything after she passed away? The guy had a really sweet setup actually, and had brought his own small mattress to put over the bed frame. Obviously the mattress was too small for the bed frame. He left most of his stuff because he probably didn't expect a confrontation that night. I don't think he knew she would be there that night because she never was. It probably sucked for him because when I moved in, because for me, the guy had the whole house to himself 2 days a week. The police did ask me quite a fair amount of questions and were very interested in hearing my statement about hearing footsteps at night. My 3 roommates and my friend are now literally convinced that maybe the girl didn't die, the way they said that she did, and maybe she was actually murdered. But I think the autopsy would have been able to distinguish a murder from a seizure. In their defense, the whole thing is so creepy. We're not really sure how long the guy had been living there, but it's very likely that it's been at least a few months. The theory is that the guy had been climbing in through the window, so it's possible that he was even there at times when all of us were. The police are really interested in talking to the landlord because they want to know how the man found out about the vacant room. The landlord is a pretty decent guy, so I don't think there's anything going on there. I don't even feel as if I told you so towards anybody about this whole thing. I think that I'm just glad that the girl is okay because she seemed pretty shaken up. I just wish people were more willing to listen to me when I told them that I thought somebody was in our house. I even raised the possibility that there could have been a squatter in the house, but everybody laughed at me. This happened very recently, so it might be a while before I can update anyone. As of now, the man has not been found by the police and they remain very optimistic about finding him. Hello everyone, I really hope you enjoyed that video. Again, this was another story that I stumbled upon while doing research for my other bigger video that I'm working on right now. But I thought it's such a good story that I thought I'd just quickly make it into a video to get up for you guys. So I really hope everybody enjoyed that. And yeah, I'm just about to go straight back to working on my bigger video again, but if ever I do a random video that's just uploaded as it is, it's because the same things happened where I've found a really good story and I just want to put it out on its own as a video because I really enjoyed doing it. But yeah, so I'm going to go right back to my other video now. And I'm still going to have a lot more videos out this week, and I'm really enjoying the stepping up that I'm doing right now. Most of it's come from actually sorting out my sleep, because I kind of cut down on caffeine and some other stuff, and I've really managed to finally install a really good sleeping pattern. And since I've done that, it's like everything's changed for me. It's just so much more helpful, because you can imagine, like, I can wake up exactly when I want to, and I can actually get restful sleep. So it makes me feel way better overall, and it just gives me a lot more energy to do these. And with my anxiety, at the minute I'm just in contact with another therapist, so I should soon be going with them, and I'm really excited about it because I just can't wait to get past these problems I have. But as always, I'm staying strong for it, and I'll see it to the end till I'm better. But don't worry, I'm still doing pretty well, and I hope everybody else is. So yeah, and I was gonna say, I'm gonna do a viewer submission video soon, so if you have any stories you'd like to send me, then please do so through my email in the link in the description, and I'll try and make every single one into a video if I can. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm just gonna get right back to working now. I really hope you'll enjoy, and I hope you all have a great Easter. Take care everybody.